Hello children. Today I am going to take literature class of class 3. So take out your literature book and open chapter 3, David and Goliath. Bible has been divided into two parts, that is Old Testament and New Testament. So the story has been taken from Old Testament. Old Testament is the first part of the Christian Bible. Chapter 3, David and Goliath. Children, let's go through the meaning first. Quench, satisfy by drinking. Bully, someone who hurts or frightens someone else. Concentrate, focus all one's attention on a particular object. Wander, roam about or move about. Tumbling, fall suddenly. Bronze, a yellowish brown metal. Dismay, upset. Harp, a musical instrument. David, the youngest of the 7 brothers, was a shepherd boy. Just like other days, he was out on the green hills, dotted with tiny yellow flowers, minding his flock of sheep. David kept a careful eye on them. They must not wander off. No fierce wild animal must hurt or kill them. David was good at his job. The sheep knew they were safe. When David was with them, he led them to the spots where the grass was fresh and juicy. He found them streams of clear fresh water so that they could quench their thirst. David was trying out a new song on its harp. It was such a joy composing new songs to God, thanking and praising Him for everything. David loved God. He had just composed the first few lines of a new song when he saw one of his brothers running up the hill. "Come home immediately, David," he said, panting. "Samuel wants to see you." God was not pleased with King Saul, the ruler of the land, so he had sent Samuel the prophet to David's house to choose the future king. The next king must be someone who loved and trusted God, and the Lord had chosen David. When David came home, Samuel blessed him and put holy oil on his forehead. His family came to know that David was a special God-chosen one. From time to time, King Saul would not keep well. When he would be very ill, his servant would bring David to play the harp for the king in order to soothe him. King Saul loved David. King Saul, Jonathan, and David were very good friends. Now the enemies of the land gathered of their armies for a battle against Saul and his army. The enemy had a huge man, a champion named Goliath, who was more than 9 feet tall. No wonder he was known as Goliath the giant. He was simply enormous. He was like an iron man. He wore a bronze helmet and a heavy coat of armor. His spear was long and heavy. His voice boomed all over the valley when he shouted, "I challenge King Saul to a battle. Choose a man, and if he is able to fight and kill me, we will be your servants. If not, then you will be our slaves." When Saul and the people of the land Israel heard this, they were dismayed. The giant would scream and shout every day, daring people to fight him and building up fear in them. 3 of David's brothers were in Saul's army. One day, David was sent by his father to take some food for this brother in the camp. David was just in time to hear Goliath shouting, I dare anyone to fight me. Everyone was afraid. When no one moved, David talked to some of the soldiers. That giant too big for his boots. We shouldn't let him get away with trying to bully us like this. You are too big for your boots, David said his brother crossly. Stay out of this. You are only 14. Leave us men to fight this giant. Now go away. David, did you go away to King Saul himself? O king, I'll fight Goliath. I'm not scared. My son, you are but a youth and he has long been a man of war, replied King Saul, a little taken aback. I keep the sheep for my father, David answered, and when a lion took a lamb from the flock, I went after him, fought, and smote him. God gave me the strength to fight that lion, and the same God will help me fight our enemy. Allow me to fight him. So Saul said, Go then, and the Lord be with you. The king clothed David in his armor, put a helmet of bronze on his head, and gave him his own sword. But David was not used to these heavy things. I can hardly walk. I cannot go into this, he said. He took them off and put on his own clothes. David took his strong stick and went down to the brook. He chose 5 smooth round stones, put them inside his shepherd's bag, and drew near to where the enemy was camped. What's this? The giant roared when he saw David. Am I a dog that you come to me with a stick? I come to you in the name of God, replied the young lad. He put his hand into his bag, took out a stone, put it into his sling, and fired it. The stone flew and hit the giant on his forehead, and within a second the huge iron man came tumbling down into a shower of dust with a loud thud. David ran and stood over him, took the giant's sword out of its sheath, and cut off his head. Goliath was dead. When the enemy saw that their champion was killed, they took their heels. King Saul and his army cheered and chased after the enemy. The people of Israel blessed David. They came out of the city to greet and congratulate King Saul. There was much singing and dancing and great rejoicing. David was a hero.